What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about what men are afraid of and why so many won't commit. Listen, somebody asked me, what specifically are men afraid of? What are they so afraid of that so many will engage in a loving relationship with a woman or get serious to a degree, but will never commit or start an official relationship? What stops them? Is there anything specific that stops them? Oftentimes, yes. A lot of men are afraid of change. And what I mean by that is they're afraid of the changes that a woman will make as her feelings change. There's this idea that's partially true that women are more loyal to their emotions than their principles sometimes, right? And while, again, it's not absolute and it's not to, say anything bad about women, to a degree, it's true. A woman's passion for a guy, her longing for a guy, her desire for a guy kind of dictates her conduct with that guy. And when she loses that desire and that passionate need for him, she ultimately makes some adjustments. Women do this when they get married. Women do this when they have children. Women do this when they finally get the relationship. Women do this when they get comfortable, just like men do. This is a human thing. It's not just women. But when you're asking me what men are specifically afraid of, men are specifically afraid of what the relationship will look like once that change happens, right? And where you will change. We don't know. No more than a woman knows how a man might change, how a man might start to underperform as compared to how he performed. The difference is a woman will take that chance. Most men will not. A lot of women, when they finally get the relationship or they finally get the ring or they finally have the baby, ultimately have different passions that start to overtake their emotions. They start to emotionally attach themselves to different ideas, new things, and new goals and ambitions. The problem is a lot of men have been in relationships with women who are really respectful, who are really soft-spoken, or who was really strategic communicators, right? Who respected boundaries, who did the healthier things that should be required by anybody in a relationship as it pertains to handling conflict or bringing up issues. These are the things that women do and men do when they're hoping for a relationship. People put their best foot forward when they're hoping for a relationship, when they're hoping for growth and evolution, when they're hoping to get to the next level. Men do this when they're hoping to add sexuality to a relationship. Okay, again, this is a human thing, but women are my audience. So a lot of times men have experienced a woman being great, being at her best, treating them well with respect. And all of a sudden, at some point, one day they look up and they're being talked to crazy. She's uncompromising where she used to compromise. She's now asexual where she used to be sexual and explorative. She's now not interested in doing anything, right? She now requires more entertainment and is no longer willing to just hang out, right? Sometimes she's very distant, starts hanging out with her friends more, right? He becomes less of a priority because he becomes a realized goal. She's got him, so she's chasing other things. It just depends. A lot of women go through this when they have children. The children becomes the emotional passion that she is engulfed by. So all of a sudden, this man who was your whole world is now, second fiddle to the child, which makes sense, but there's no balance. And so sometimes a man looks up and he's really just not a non-priority, right? And so a lot of times, again, men are specifically afraid of how women might change. And because it's so unpredictable how each one will, their strategic manipulation becomes, I'm not going to give her the relationship. I'm going to date her indefinitely. We're going to fall in love. We might even have some children, but I'm never going to commit to this woman because I don't want her to change. I want her to always be striving for the next level. And in general, if you keep a person striving for the next level, they always put their best foot forward because they have an unrealized goal until they give up, that is, right? So that's kind of what's going on. Sometimes men are afraid of being disrespected, being cheated on, being disloyal, or just pick the thing that people do in relationships. And men do this too, but women want the relationship because that relationship title gives them the security that maybe those things won't happen. But the relationship title for men gives them the doubt that now they have any leverage at all because that's their leverage, is the relationship, is the commitment, right? So just like a woman fears after she gives herself physically to a man, if he'll stay, if he'll continue to respect her, if he'll show up the next day, if he'll answer her calls again, if she'll ever see him again. Women have that fear that, man, I hope this sexual encounter doesn't turn into him ghosting me or disappearing or never talking to me again or moving on or saying he doesn't want a relationship when we've been talking on the phone for 3 or 4 weeks or 2 or 3 months. He finally got it. Is he going to disappear? That's the fear for a woman. The fear for a man is, you finally got this relationship. Will you still respect me? You finally got this relationship. Am I still allowed to say what I need to say to you without being criticized? Yeah, you got this relationship. Now are you still loyal? You got this relationship. Will you now continue to try? You got this relationship. Will you keep yourself in physical shape? You got this relationship. Will you continue to be the woman that I've fallen in love with, or will you become a different woman who doesn't prioritize my needs because you already have me and you've grown stagnant? Again, from a man's point of view, men have an understanding ultimately that women are more loyal to their emotions than their principles, that their principles are their emotions. And while that can be right or wrong, depending on the woman, just like women know that after sex, there needs to be some clarity and there needs to be some reconciliation with what the relationship means now. After the relationship, the man has that same fear. What do I have to look forward to? Is she going to be the same woman? Again, right or wrong, people assume all kind of crap. This is a human thing. Humans change. Humans transform. Humans adjust. Humans settle. Men are just more afraid of how a woman might settle than women are about how a man might settle. So again, I'm just answering the question. This isn't to justify a man holding off on a relationship or stringing a woman along. I'm not doing that. I'm just answering the question of what specifically they fear. Most men fear how a woman might change. In your relationship, if you have a problem with the guy not committing, but trying to be your man and operating as a whole partner, but refusing to do that, ask him what he's afraid of. Ask him what specifically is he afraid that you're going to do, or in a way that is he specifically afraid of you disappointing him in a way, right? Try to figure out exactly what he's afraid of, because there's a conversation to be had there. And no amount of conversation can make a man commit who doesn't want to commit. But at least if you can gain some understanding of why he doesn't commit, so you can start to make the decision about whether or not you want to stay, or whether or not you want to try, or whether or not you want to wait. Most of the time, I wouldn't suggest waiting on anyone whose fear leads them to that degree. It just tells me that they're unhealed and they could be traumatized. But even so, it's a great conversation to have. Again, this video isn't to excuse men not committing, right? It's to let you know what stops them from committing a lot of times. Why so many men act like girlfriend is some kind of legally binding title. It's because they're afraid of what might happen when they commit, how things will change. Will you love him less? Will you make love to him less? Will you be less respectful? Will you speak louder? Will you become more indignant? Will you become more uncooperative? Will you become more entitled? Use the leverage that you have over him for, evil, so to speak. People have specific fears, and everybody's fears are specific to their experience and their trauma. So if you're dealing with an unhealed man, then again, that's good information. You need to know if he's unhealed, but you also need to be able to recognize that. And in general, when men have an issue with committing, but they spend like time with you, like they're your man, and they act as though you're in this relationship, they just will not commit. They will not make you their girlfriend. They will not set a standard for the relationship that you're loyal to only each other and you're only dating each other exclusively and there's no other looking around. When they won't do that, it's because they're generally unhealed and traumatized, and they have a fear of you changing in some way that they've either experienced or watched someone close to them experience with a woman that stops them from trying to make more of this relationship. Many men just think to keep a woman at her best, you have to keep her wanting something. Some women do this too. Again, this is not sex specific. But to answer your question, that's the specific thing that most men are afraid of, is the change. And the change is specific to them and their fears and their trauma. So again, if you're in a situationship that doesn't seem to be going anywhere, or you're in a long-term situationship and you're trying to figure out how to get it to the next level, or at least gain some understanding about why it's not growing, I would start the conversation around the fears that they have of change. Anyway, I hope this helps. Listen, for those of you who've been waiting on the Kevik Financial Education channel, I'm in the process of getting licensed as a financial advisor. I know I said I wanted to start the channel kind of as a student, but then I decided, well, I'm the one passionate about finance. I'm the one passionate about these products. I'm the one that studies this crap for no reason at all and talk about it all the time with my brother and with my friends and my cousins at the gym. I might as well start helping people in this way because no one was there to help me. Anyway, for those of you who have been waiting on that financial education channel, I have an update. I'm currently, again, in the process of getting licensed as a financial advisor. I'm working on license 2 of 4. It won't be long, but when I start and actually sign my contract to become a financial advisor, I won't actually be able to make content on YouTube. I won't be able to promote it on YouTube, talk finance, even say the word money or financial product across any channel or social media I have. Because of that, if you want to work with me, or if you're a person who wants to look into investing, retirement planning, estate planning, tax strategy, or anything in the realm of fortifying your financial future, right, through education and potentially making a move or taking some action, text me directly the word money at 614-254-6633. Okay? 614-254-6633. If you text me the word money, you'll be on my list, and I'll start giving out free sessions to people who are looking for a financial advisor, are looking to be educated on their specific circumstances, educating people on their options and how they can fortify their financial futures and the futures of their family. So again, text me the word money if you're interested, if you want to get on my list. If you wait till I'm licensed, it will be too late, because I will not be able to mention my services or my company on YouTube at all. So as soon as I become an actual financial advisor, you won't hear from me in that capacity. So get on my list now and text me the word money. With that said, follow me at KVic24 on Instagram. I'll get with y'all later.